Lazy people. One of the problems in difficult relationships is having to deal with a lazy person. And this happens quite a lot. I get a lot of emails from people who have a person in their life who is very unmotivated to do what they need to do, for people that are not willing to do what they need to do for themselves. And the person is asking me, how can I make this spouse or child, adult child or brother or sister, our parent, do what needs to be done to take care of themselves and to stop being lazy and irresponsible? It can be extremely frustrating to look at somebody like that, especially when you're a person who's highly motivated to take care of problems and do what you need to do and to achieve and to provide and to work and just be responsible and do what you need to do. And when you see this person and you see this laziness, your tendency is to be perplexed, like, I don't get it. I don't understand. How can somebody be that unwilling to do it? And, it just might be something that you're like, well, it can't really just be that they're lazy. It has to be that this person has a problem and maybe just needs to be nagged or pressed or shown the way or maybe helped a little bit. So, they'll kind of stand up and begin to take care of themselves. And I love this scripture because it kind of talks about that. It's Proverbs 26:13-15. It says, a sluggard says, there's a lion in the road, a fierce lion roaming the streets. Not really a lion. That's an excuse to not have to go out and do anything. As a door turns on its hinges, so a sluggard turns in his bed. So you think about a door turning on its hinges, going back and forth like this. It's just flipping. So here's a sluggard, lazy, turning on his bed, turning this way, not getting up, turning this way, not getting up. Some of you might have teenagers or young adults who sleep all day long and you feel like, I can't take that anymore. I used to hate that. My kids used to say, I don't want to have anybody spend the night. My friends complain because you make us get up early on the weekends. It was really hard for me to have a kid sleeping all day long. I've learned that I have to be a little more tolerant of that at times. Anyway, the rest of the verse says this: a sluggard buries his hand in the dish. He is too lazy to bring it to his mouth. When I read that and thought about the things that I had tried to do to motivate different people in my life to do what they needed to do at times, I literally laughed out loud and I said, oh my gosh, picture that visual, okay? So you have somebody that takes her hand, let's say they eat with their hand, there's not a spoon, or they even take the spoon, put the spoon in the dish, and they just sort of hang there like this. And they're just so tired and so lazy that even though they're hungry, you can get the picture, even though they're hungry, they're just so lazy that they won't even take their hand and put it to their mouth to feed themselves. These people that are lazy will not even reach their hand in. You can prepare the food for them. You can put it in front of them. I know you've tried to do this with people. I have. And put that hand and just still too lazy. So you know what I've done in times like that? I've taken that and it's almost like I've taken that spoon and spoon-fed people who should be able to feed themselves and recognize that if somebody is so lazy to even put their hand to the mouth to eat when hungry, that there's nothing that I'm going to be able to do to motivate that person to not be lazy and to take care of themselves. So you got to keep that in mind. So what are some of the characteristics or the attitudes of lazy people? And the first one is chronic procrastination. Chronic means continual, perpetual, keeps happening. So chronic procrastination. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Remember, there's a lion in the streets. There's a lion in the streets. I can't go out. Okay, tomorrow. I'll look for a job tomorrow. I'll sign up for classes tomorrow. I'll study tomorrow. I'll go to work tomorrow. I'll clean it tomorrow. So it's chronic procrastination. Then there's a sense of entitlement. I don't have to do it for myself. Somebody else is going to give it to me. I don't have to work. I don't have to try. You take care of me. You help me. It's your responsibility. And then the next one is they're irresponsible. And they're so irresponsible that even when negative consequences come their way, lazy people don't tend to be motivated by the kinds of things that would motivate other people. It really takes a lot to motivate them. And so that's kind of hard to watch. That's the point where you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't continue to watch this. This doesn't make sense. It just can't be just laziness. And so you'll jump in. And when you do that, it helps that lazy person to stay lazy because they're like, oh, I don't have to do that much, because if I just push it this far, my mother, my father, my sibling, my spouse will become uncomfortable and do it, step in and do it. And then the last one is they will do whatever they're doing is done with the least amount of effort. Like if I can lift that spoon up and just, if I could drink my food with a straw so I don't even have to move my mouth, that's what I'm going to do. Whatever's the least amount of effort. I'll barely clean my room, barely clean the car, barely do what I need to do. Just kind of turn on the internet and put in some weird search and say, oh, there's no job. I'm not going to get up and get dressed and drive somewhere and go on interviews. It's too much work. So, okay. This can be maddening, absolutely maddening for those of us who don't understand laziness and not doing what needs to be done. But you've got to be able to let go. The only thing that you can do with a lazy person is to stop helping, let go, let that person experience his or her own hunger, own need, come to that end, that own personal end, which sometimes is called hitting a bottom, where it's just like, I can't be lazy anymore. I've got to get up and do what needs to be done to take care of myself so that I can get what I need and take care of my needs. That's the only way a lazy person can begin to take care of himself or herself. And if you can't let that person come to his or her own end, you're going to constantly be stepping in and taking over for that lazy person and doing for the lazy person what he or she should do for himself or herself. Thank you for watching this video on Change My Relationship.